Is this your first nationwide tour, or did you?
Actually, we had toured last year after the Sacrifice album, and so this is actually our second tour, and we're looking forward to the third as well. We have the remainder, we have, well, today's almost the last day in this month, but all of October and part of November that we're going to be on touring, and so we're definitely cranking things out. Each album, we get to get more and more of a foothold on things and to be able to, do a lot more. And next year we're looking forward to Canada and Australia, and just a number of different issues have been really rising in reference to that. So it's actually the second tour we've been on.
Did you head out east for your last tour?
No, actually, primarily it was the Midwest and the South and what have you, and and so this is really cool that we get to be out here this time. It's really great. We're in, Maryland last night, and over here in Rhode Island tonight and stuff, and so we're just totally digging it. It's like radical over here. It's totally cool.
Where are you planning to head out after the East here? You're going for another month, you said?
Basically, we're going to be all over the place. They can call the 900 line. I think that's on our video and on all types of stuff. I should have it here with me, but it has all of the concert information so that, they can always call up and just find out what city we're going to be playing at and what have you. It's really cool.
On your video?
Yeah, on the video that we have over here, yeah, it has the 900 line. Maybe you could put that in on the, on this, which is cool because anyone, you can call it and listen to it, and they'll tell you everything that's going on with the band, and it's really cool, and they'll tell you where we're playing in the whole deal.
Killer. How is the secular press received to one side? I know Christian press ate it up; they loved it.
Yeah, basically all of the reviews that we've gotten, like from Metal Forces and Kerrang and the different magazines that that have written us up and what have you, have really given us a really favorable response and review, and so. We're doing more and more as we can to work on getting that in their hands and what have you. We've kind of watching how it goes and how we're going to address the next one as it comes out and stuff. But what little we have seen has definitely been favorable. It's been really cool.
Excellent. I'll come back to that. What happened to KKLA, and will it resurface on another album?
It's very possible. Basically, yeah, what happened to it was that an individual whom we'll rename nameless chose to abandon my instruction and not put it on there, and therefore he'll no longer work for us, but that's all right. It was something that was supposed to have been on there, and so it was just a matter of someone going over their boundary of authority and doing something we instructed them not to do. It was supposed to be on there, and therefore we'll simply never hire him ever again. But in any case, that's just so you. That's what happened. It was recorded, mixed, tracked, the whole deal, and I instructed them to put it on there. And so that's basically, it just that's what it boiled down to,
How long a song was it? Was it a little short burst?
It was KKLA was a redone version of the KKLA theme song for what KKLA in Los Angeles is an Orthodox Christian station that plays heavy teaching all day long, and it's been a major blessing in my life. And one of the things we were wanting to do is simply to tell people, if you find good Orthodox teaching in the form of radio or television or in some regard, regard it and respect it and support it in any degree that you can when it's good. Obviously, the Lord warned us that there would be wolves also coming, so to make sure that we don't support something that isn't in Orthodoxy, but yet at the same time, if it is, totally to support it. And KKLA has been a real big blessing to me, and so I just wanted people around the country to utilize that factor since they have so many options on a daily basis of what to listen to in that regard, which would be really cool.
Now, as your ministry is growing, has the enemy thrown bigger obstacles in your path?
I wouldn't say bigger so much as to anything that, because we all deal with things on a daily basis. There's always something that we're all dealing with one way or another. For some people, it's their finances. For another people, it's a relationship. For another person, it's, an action or an attitude. For another person, it can be a number of different things that everyone has to deal with. So basically, it's for me, it's all real relative. It's when I center my focus on the Lord and just His will and His work, the rest of it that I see is just kind of like circumstantial. So I wouldn't say any larger. I mean, there are things that we deal with, sure, but nothing I would say that's extraordinary.
Now, moving on to the album, some more of the album. I noticed the sound quality was like leagues better than in my personal opinion. I was just wondering how long it took you to get your sound in?
Basically, yeah, we had more time this time, which was a real blessing, man. We had more time, and I sat there tooth and nail grinding it out. You know, I was actually, as well as doing part of the production, I wasn't giving credit for it, but that's cool. You know, if you've listened to the Tourniquet album, you'll hear, you know, the production work as well as the Recon album. And so, as well, I spent just as many hours as Ron, who is an individual who we brought into the studio. And so actually, you know, we did have more time, and I got a lot more say on this album than last one, which is cool. So there are some specifics. There are some things, obviously, you'd always like to say, well, I wish I would have had more time, or I wish I would have had more reins on. And believe me, on this next album, the third album, is going to rip, because I'll probably basically be producing it with the guys. So it's going to be happening, definitely.
Now, your sound is just, it seems like you've got like older influences.
Yeah, that's kind of all of our backgrounds. You know, and you grew up with all of the, you know, late 60s bands, 70s bands, you know, early 80s and stuff. So it's kind of like the stuff we grew up with. And so it's always been an influence musically in the way we write, you know, because like, for instance, I'll write a song, you know, and then I'll just put it on tape. I'll, you know, play all the parts. I'll get a drum machine and put the bass lines down, put the guitar lines down. I'll give it to the guys and say, here, check this out. And, you know, then they'll learn it, and then we'll sit down and go for it and stuff. So, yeah, we all have that feel, Larry, and, you know, just the same thing. It's a kind of a background that, you know, is definitely in part of what we do.
Well, it works. Now, can you explain the flowers of power, the idea that, you know, what gave you the idea and what was the reaction, and explain, because people are basically clueless as to the whole.
Yeah, that was a real blast. What we did was we played Cornerstone for the past couple of years, and on this year they had booked all of the bands, you know, and we called them up and said, hey, what's up? And Henry told us, yeah, he goes, wow, you know, we've booked all the bands and everything. And so I go, well, hey, you know, because here's our thing was that we were going to go up there anyway. And it's like, for anyone who's never been to Cornerstone and with Japoos and Jesus people, we'd really say you should hit it. I mean, plan to take your vacation or whatever, but hit that festival. It's totally cool. I mean, we're planning on being there for the next several years, regardless of if we play or not. And that's what was our perspective. We told Henry, we said, hey, well, you know, we're going to be up there anyway. Why don't we'll go up and have some fun. We'll go under a pseudonym. And so he goes, yeah, that sounds cool. So they just went ahead and went for it. And so it was a real blessing. We just had a good time with it, you know, just the whole thing with the costumes and everything, trying to, you know, freak people out just for the fun of it. It was really cool. It was a blast.
Did the word get out beforehand?
Well, apparently, yeah, to some, but then we kind of played it off so that it wasn't, you know, we just basically said, people said, are you guys the Flowers? Or rather they said, are you guys playing? If you go there and it's not us up on stage, at least you can say that we didn't tell you it was. So, you know, so it was kind of, we left it real open-ended, wow. So it was really cool, you know, so it was real fun.
Now, can you tell people a little bit about the Sanctuary Church that you're involved with?
Yeah, basically Sanctuary, it's totally happening in Southern California. We have 4 churches that exist over there. There are many other churches throughout the United States that have been wanting to become affiliated with us. However, we haven't allowed that to be so, simply for the sake of accountability, you know, and because really we're all doing the same thing anyway, and so the name really shouldn't mean anything, and we don't want it to become a superstructure and what have you. But basically we're a church that is like your average church, with the exception of the fact that we have our services at 2:15 in the afternoon because of a lot of the late night stuff that we do, and we'd rather have people get a full 8 hours of sleep the night before and come with a fresh mind, rather than trying to, you know, stay up late and then come up groggy and half thinking and not retaining any of the, you know, things that are taught and what have you. So we'd rather have them come with a real fresh mind and a full night's sleep and what have you. So other than that, you know, we're most closely aligned to the Baptist in doctrine, and you know, it's a definitely happening fellowship. A lot of musicians, you know, just on the area that we live in, stuff like the Hollywood Church is, you know, a block away from what is called MI, the Musicians Institute. That is, you know, musicians come from all over the world to study there, and you know, it produces virtuosos year in and year out, just coming out of that school, and many of them come to our church, you know, and it's when they realize that there is a down-to-earth happening fellowship, it blows their mind, because most people preconceive that Christianity is some flipped-out thing, when actually it's quite the opposite, so it's cool.
Now, what is a typical service like? I mean,
your average Baptist service. We have, you know, our time of praise and worship and song, and our announcements, and some more praise, and then the teaching of the Word and fellowship afterward. With the exception of the fact that our music, let's say, we would do more for praise and worship time, more like a Crosby, Stills, Nash Young type stuff, acoustic guitars and stuff, and just real directional songs,
Now, what's the I've heard it called the metal church. Is there a lot of long hairs out there that come to attend your church?
Yes and no. It's really open. It's a really, although there are many who do attend, it's by no means, that seems to be a group of people who are attending, but by all means we have a lot of different types of people. So yeah, that's it's been called that because primarily it has been an outreach to that genre and to that scene, to that group of people in the music industry primarily. However, by all means, again, it's not limited by any way, shape, or form to that. So we're out there at all times, just on an individualistic daily thing with people or families, people we work with, and it's the whole gamut of what moment by moment Christianity is all about.
Neat. How receptive are crowds to your straightforward message of salvation through Christ?
Yeah, the majority of them are really receptive, and I've seen many people come to the Lord through it, and it's been really cool. And so, and there's occasionally when you got some hecklers out there, and just kind of like, hey, well, whatever, they have their preconceived notions, and maybe we can rap with them after the show and stuff, and really hopefully answer the questions, because I find that most of those people, they've gone through some experiences that we simply don't know about, man. They've had some things happen in their lives, some people who have burned them, or something that went down that gave them this view against Christianity, when if they understood the simplicity of it all, there's really no reason to slam Christ or the Word or the believers. And so I don't know what has happened or what has led them to that perspective, but hopefully we can have some rational dialogue with them, whereby they'll understand the perspective of Orthodox what they perceive as Christianity, therefore they heckle it or what have you. But 90% of the time it's very well received, I would really go so far as to say 95% of the time, It's very, very few that it happens, but occasionally, got someone in there who's either blitzed or whatever,
Is it hard for you to come on? I mean, are your wives coming on tour with you?
No. We each individualistically work that out within our families. For instance, my wife, I just took her to Hawaii, and as soon as I get back, I'm taking her to Puerto Vallarta, and keeping that related. We just had our 5-year anniversary, so it's like the first couple of years we were married. I definitely didn't do anything like this, but in our premarital counseling, which is for anyone who's planning on getting married, I definitely suggest that premarital counseling. It'll bless you totally, because see, we guys go into marriage thinking we know it all. Like, what's somebody gonna tell me? But yet when you get in there, your mind gets blown. You go, oh, I didn't think about that. And so basically, in our premarital counseling, we discussed the fact that it was very obvious that at some point in time, the Lord was using me in this regard to be able to travel and be able to do things of this nature. And so that was an agreed upon thing before we got married, which is a real blessing. And so, since we understood that, it's been really cool. And I'll fly her out occasionally here and there. Like year before last, I flew out to Cornerstone and stuff. So, yeah, it's working out real cool. Roger just flew his wife out here to be here today and stuff, and Glenn just went home to be with his wife for a little bit of time. So, yeah, it worked out.
So it works out great. All right, well, I suppose that's about all the questions I have. We're going to put this right on the air probably this week.
Cool.
And I was just wondering if you have any messages that you'd like to give that I neglected to.
If you keep going, man, I'll be here for a couple hours. But I'll tell you what, you should pick up like 1 or 2 of the teaching tapes, and you can like check out what section you want. Like they're about an hour long each.
Of the Pastor Bob.
No, of me up at the Hollywood Church. And that way you can kind of edit down whatever section you think would really speak to, whoever, because they're like full on. See, if you get me on a topic, dude, I won't shut up. So, definitely, maybe you can pick one of those up and check it out, and just check out a section you think would be really cool, and then you can maybe just put it in there.
Killer. Okay. Cool. Well,
What's up? This is Roger Martinez, a vocalist for Vengeance Rising, and you are listening to Mark and Mike's Big Old Thrash Show on WXPL 91.3 FM.